We are going to talk about 5 signs that you have a wounded inner child and what you can do to heal that. So hello, my name is Rochelle Walsh. I'm a complex trauma therapist of more than 20 years, and we specialize in neuroscience-based strategies, oftentimes paired with Christian faith because that's important to me. So wounded child, what does that mean? What that means is that somewhere along the line, developmentally, during a certain stage, that there were unmet emotional needs. And that's kind of what we refer to as a wounded inner child. And so I'm going to talk about some things that may indicate this list is not exhaustive, but I'm going to talk about 5 indications that we may have a wounded inner child. And so the first one is that we have a difficult time attuning to and regulating our own emotion. Instead, we find it easier to read a room and be super attuned to other people's emotions, but we're fairly disconnected and unable to effectively regulate our own emotions. This is a key indicator that we have a wounded inner child, because being left alone in emotions and not having adults to co-regulate and walk us through emotion is really terrifying for children. And so it in and of itself is a source of trauma. And so, when someone didn't have help with those things, emotions become scary. So inability to really connect to and regulate your own emotions is a key. And sometimes we'll see this play out, like the feeling of I want someone to rescue me. Right? They're still waiting for someone to come along and rescue them because their own emotions feel overwhelming and they're still craving what they didn't get. Okay. The next sign of a wounded inner child is that they're stuck in pleasing, producing, and performing. So this has to do with worth. So rather than just feeling a sense of worth for who I am and who I was created to be, there's a sense of pleasing, performing, and producing, getting outward approval. I'm busy. I'm worthy because of who I help, because of what I do, because of how I achieve, because of what I produce. So another key indicator of a wounded inner child. Third, I found this a lot, a lack of being able to use imagination. It feels almost scary for a lot of people, or just unfamiliar. So they might just say I've just never been able to use my imagination or relax or, have creative play. Like having a hard time using that imagination is another key sign of a wounded inner child. Because as we know, kids are very imaginative, kids are very creative, but when there's stressors or traumas that happened or, unmet emotional needs, they stop leaning into that so much because they go into hypervigilance, which is outward focus. So having a hard time imagining is oftentimes an indication of a wounded inner child. Difficulty being still. If we have a wounded inner child, that can look like the need to, again, this kind of goes with the pleasing, perfection, and producing, but difficulty with stillness. So it's hard to go inside. It feels like I always should be doing something. I need to get busy. I feel guilty relaxing. Even when I can relax, I feel like there's more I should be doing. Difficulty with stillness, being still, again, is oftentimes a sign that there's some emotional stuff there that's unresolved. And so the way the person has coped is by avoiding or distracting and getting busy. And then the last one I want to talk about is unresolved and processed feelings also end up showing up in the body through somatic distress, maybe headaches, maybe gut issues, maybe muscle, unexplained muscle pain, autoimmunity. People don't understand how much stress and unresolved trauma and unprocessed emotions, how much that becomes inflammation in the nervous system and tends to attack our body. So if you've got a lot of unexplained health issues, chronic health issues, one of the things that I think really is sad is that people can spend so much time and energy trying to resolve physical health issues only to have another one and then another one and then another one. And then if this is happening, it really is worth exploring whether or not there's some unprocessed emotional stuff, because if you don't fix that, the body has no shortage of ways that it can attack itself. How do we work on inner child stuff? It really has to do with rewiring the nervous system for a state of calm so that we can get relaxed and be able to learn new templates for emotional regulation and self-compassion and those sorts of things. It's not an easy fix. It is totally doable. I think sometimes we think if we can't read about it or we can't listen to a YouTube video and understand it and get it, then we can't achieve it. And that's just not the case. It's exercises and practices to go back and relearn what was missed during that stage so that we can, in a healthy way, experience our own mind and emotions and be returned safely to our body. So I hope this helps. Subscribe. I'd love it if you'd subscribe to my channel if you're interested in this content and you want to learn more. I also have a free masterclass if you want to listen to more about the brain, and I do talk about inner child type stuff in the masterclass, and that's linked below. So hope this is helpful. See you in the next video. Bye.